So what is an Optelec desktop magnifier? I'm going to be giving you a demonstration and review of my Optelec Clearview Plus HD desktop magnifying machine. Come with me and I will show you the demonstration. Hey everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to my channel, Blind to Billionaire. So what is an Optelec Clearview Plus HD desktop magnifier? As you can see, this is my machine that I use. So just some real basics about it. Like you can see, it's a desktop magnifier. It has a 27-inch HD display. It has a tray down below, which there's a camera that shines down onto the tray, and then the tray, whatever I have on it, will display on the monitor. So it's actually, it has the ability to lock, which I have it locked right now, and then I can unlock it. And then I have the ability to move. As you can see, there's actually a pretty wide range of motion with the tray. It's actually hitting the wall. I think it goes over a little further, but it's hitting the wall right now. But you can actually see it. It has a really wide range of motion, and then it actually has a locking feature as well. So I'll lock it just for this demonstration purpose. So I actually have a white piece of paper, just a normal piece of paper underneath the machine right now, as you can see. And so some of the features, some of the real basic features, so I have it zoomed all the way out right now. So this is as much as it zooms out, but I'll show you just by this big dial here right in the middle. Just by turning this dial, I can magnify it up to 72 times. So I'll show you here. I'll slowly magnify with the dial. I'm actually here. I'll move it here so we can see. So I'm about halfway right now. So I'm slowly turning the dial. Still zooming. Have a little more to go. Still going, still have some to go. As you can see, that's huge. I can't even tell what letter that might be. So there we go, we're all the way zoomed in. So that is 72 times magnification. So yeah, that's as far zoomed in as this machine will go. So I'll zoom it all the way back out because obviously we can't work with it that big right now for this demonstration. So then in the center of the big dial here that I was just zooming with, there's a few different contrast selections. So I always use the inverted colors, the black background with the white text, because I find that's the only contrast setting that I'm actually able to see a little bit. So that's why I always keep it on, but I'll show you here some of the different settings. So if I press it once, we get what this is. It looks like white. I'm guessing it's just normal color, black ink and white paper. It just looks incredibly bright to me. I can't even see what it says. And then this again, I'm guessing it's just black and white. If the ink on the paper was actually a different color, I still think it would show up as black and white. But in this case, it's actually black ink on the paper. So I'm actually going to turn it back to the high contrast. So this is what I work with. Featuring some of the other buttons, there's two dials here on the left side of the big dial. There's two round dials. If I press the one closest to the big dial, press it once, I get a couple horizontal lines on my screen. What's really cool about this is if you need to sign something or if you're reading with this machine, what's nice about this is you can use the lines to help you sign or read or something like that. So actually the bottom line is stationary, but by turning this little dial, I can move the top line. Is it moving? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, there we go. I see it now. Okay, so I can see, you can obviously move it, and the bottom one is stationary, but if I wanted to adjust where it is, I can either adjust the document on my screen or on my on the table here, or I can just adjust the table itself to make it a little bit more usable, the bottom line. Otherwise, can do this. Another cool feature about this is if I press the button again that created the two horizontal lines, if I press this button, it actually blacks out everything except for it makes a small little space that shows, the document down below. So I can, again, the bottom part of this this area is stationary, but I can actually widen it by turning the dial again. So if you wanted to, you could easily use this feature. Again, if you wanted to read line by line, you could just black out everything and read, or you could use it for signing, or there's a lot of different purposes, which I've also used. It's a nice feature to have for sure. I've definitely used it many times. So I'll go back to normal here. This second dial, honestly, I don't even know what it does. It turns, I press it, and I don't know what it does. I've pressed it, and I've turned it, and it just doesn't do anything. So I'm sure it has a purpose. It's just I haven't figured out what it does. So next I'm going to go to, there's a button up here in the upper left corner. It's a flat button. I'm not sure what picture is on it. Maybe Corey can help.
So what it is it's a square, and there's a circle in the middle, and there's the square on the outside. So it's like the top half of the top like left corner of the square is clear, like white.
Yep.
The bottom right corner of the square is dark, and then the circle in the middle is kind of like the opposite colors, like a yin yang sort of.
Yep. Okay, so we'll press that button and show you. Okay, so we'll press that. So I pressed it one time, and I'll actually have Corey dictate because I can't tell what is changing, so I'm just going to have Corey dictate what is going on the screen for you.
Black background, yellow writing.
Okay, I'll press it again.
Black background, lime green writing. Blue background, white writing. I don't think there's a difference.
Okay, so I pressed it, and it looks, according to Corey there, it seems similar. I'll try it again. I'll press again.
Black background. It's actually kind of a pinkish writing. It actually shows up a little different when I look at it, not through this computer screen, but it's kind of a pinkish. Black background, red writing. Black background, purple writing. Black background, white writing. Okay. Where we started.
So now I'm guessing some of those color contrast settings are better for some people. For me with RP, just a plain black and white high contrast like you're seeing on the screen right now is the best. But I have encountered people, not anyone recently, but people in years past that choose something like blue background and red text or red writing, something like that. So for me, there's no way I'd ever be able to see anything like that, but those are some of the color settings that actually work pretty well for some people. So this machine is actually pretty versatile. It has a lot of different color settings as far as background and text features. So that's that side there. Over on the right side here, I have a few more buttons. We just looked over these. There's a moon and a sun. And what we do with those is I'll press the moon. Is that the moon?
Yep.
I'll press the moon. Actually, I think I have it as dark as it'll go, as high contrast. So if I press the sun button, what it does is it actually...
No, I'll go the other way.
Oops.
It's like the opposite of what you'd think.
Okay.
Okay, now it's getting like... I would say it's taking out the contrast, so now it's getting like white and fuzzy all over the screen. So it's harder to see the white text because now the background is whiter. So I suppose it lightens up the screen a lot. Like it brightens up the screen, but it makes it way less high contrast.
Yep.
But everybody needs something different.
Yep, exactly. So for me, I'm no longer able to see what's on the screen because it's not high contrast enough. To me, when I look at the screen, it's just a very bright screen. So I can't see the text anymore. So I'll go back down.
Yeah. Now it looks totally black, and now it's just totally black background with pure whiting.
Yep. So then there's actually one more button over here. Yeah, there's one more button over here. I'm not sure what it does, but let's test it out. In the upper right corner, the furthest most upper right corner on the little tray here. So I'll press this button and see what happens.
It's like a pen.
Oh, a pen.
But I don't know what it's doing. Did you push it?
I did.
I don't see anything.
Okay. So obviously it has a purpose. We would need to look in the owner's manual, to see what that actually does. not really sure. So I'll give you a little demonstration of how it is writing under this machine. So I'm actually going to flip this paper over. So here we have,
you know what? Actually, I'm going to change this because you can see through it just a little bit. Oh, look at how my hand looks underneath. It's kind of like an x-ray.
Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate. I actually have a black Sharpie marker.
There, now it's totally black on the screen.
So then, it's actually pretty difficult to write under this machine, because what I find sometimes is there's actually like a ghosting effect where I don't see it now, maybe it is, but sometimes when I put my hand under here to write, it actually shows like a duplicate of my hand and a duplicate of my pen, so I'm not sure which one is usually the right one, but typically I can tell sometimes. So right now, what I do is, to write underneath this machine, I first of all, I don't write under it very often, but when I do, I just look for the tip of the pen, and then I can write. And it's also hard to gauge how high I am above the paper. So like just now I went down to write, and I didn't even touch the paper because I was too high. So I'll try again here. So, yeah. So, you know, you can definitely write under it. There's definitely a learning curve as to writing under this machine. Let's see.
And I would just pipe in and say that even as a sighted person, I've tried to write under this, and it's really hard. So I do think, like Matt said, it's a learning curve, whether you're visually impaired or not. It's just a thing you have to get used to, and I think practice, and then it gets a lot easier.
Yeah, and
I've tried to do it, and like I can't, like I've tried to draw something, and I like couldn't make the lines connect.
Exactly. And I've had this machine for about 6 years, so I've used it quite a bit. When I got it 6 years ago, my vision was definitely a lot better than it is now. So I actually drew a line on the paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate writing my name, and I'm going to attempt keeping it nice and neat on the line, which sounds like it should be pretty easy, but it's actually more difficult than you think it is to actually write and keep the word on the line. So again, I'm looking for the tip of the pen, which is what I always do when I write under this thing.
That's actually really good.
So you can see actually I went up.
Slightly.
I didn't realize it at the time when I was doing it. Another thing that I noticed when I'm writing under this machine, if I start writing and I stop, that's a huge problem. So what I do is when I start writing, I just need to continue writing. I can't stop, because when I stop, what happens is trying to get my pen back to wherever the word was that I ended. So let's say I just wrote, let's say M-A, and then I stop. And now trying to come back and trying to line the spacing back up and get the pen where I need to finish my name is actually pretty difficult, especially if I want it to look neat. So I'm not sure how that looks, but
yeah, the T's above the A.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard.
So I found that when writing under this machine, just keep your flow going and just finish whatever it is that you're writing. If I'm ever working on any important type documents, I typically don't write under this machine or sign anything without the assistance of somebody else, especially if I need to sign on something and it's an important document, which if it requires a signature, typically it's important. I find that it's just too difficult to sign under here, so I'd rather just use somebody else to help me identify the line and line my hand up in the pen to sign a document versus trying to sign something under this machine. Although I have done it, I just find it's a lot easier, and it's just definitely a lot easier to have somebody help me versus this. So anyway, this is just a real basic demonstration and review on the Optelec Clearview Plus HD desktop magnifier. So this is the machine that I use. I use it, you know, here it's in my office. I use it occasionally. I wouldn't say that I use it all that much anymore because it's just getting to the point where it's really difficult for me. But it's just something that I use occasionally. It's another tool that I have as an accessibility feature that I have here in my office. So again, just a quick review on the Optelec Clearview Plus HD desktop magnifier. If you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor, subscribe to my channel. It's a relatively new channel, and I'm always trying to deliver as much valuable content as I can for all of you who are blind or visually impaired, or just interested in following me in my life with vision loss. So if there's any topics or anything that you would like me to talk about, feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down in the comments section, and I'll definitely answer questions or create videos regarding any questions that you may have, things like that. So again, I really appreciate all of you who have been loyal subscribers and followers of me and my channel. I really do appreciate it. It's been really fun getting to know a lot of you over the last few months. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again on a future video. Thanks again.